we have made it to week 4. I guess we're here. This game is totally sideways. I was not expecting it to be like this at all. So that's always fun. Whoa. Voice coming in at me. There we go. All right. Well, in any case. Why is nothing popping up? I have no idea where it's going. Okay. Well, that's weird. Did everything just shut down on me? Well. Well, it started, and then it disappeared. Can anybody hear me? Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. I see. Whoa. Always the weird ones that come in. It's Judkins or Scattaboo. I'm going to go with. It's kind of a mess. If it's PPR, I'll probably go Scattaboo. If it's any kind, if it's half or standard, I'd go Judkins. And then RPC 909, Flex Hubbard or Judkins. It's PPR, so you're definitely going Judkins. Man, this is coming in all funky, but it's working. All right. Okay, like I was saying, before everything went completely sideways, get your questions answered. We're here. Sorry about the delay. All right. Bradley came in. Bo Nix or Drake May. That's definitely going to be May for me. And then Harvey or Woody Marks. It's kind of the same boat. I'm kind of curious to see if the Broncos would actually end up using Harvey more, just because of the fact that it should be a game that they're able to kind of control. However, the fact that they did a healthy scratch of Dameon Pierce makes me think Woody Marks also should see another increased role and the chance of a big play. So I'm probably going to go May and Marks just to be safe. But would you stack Ladd, Allen, and Herbert? This week, yeah, probably. I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard not to play every Chargers wide receiver. QJ has been leading the way. And then, of course, we have just the massive play that Allen's been doing every week. The PPR monster's there. And then Ladd is just short for some reason. And so it's very interesting to kind of see how that's going to work out. Good morning, Leaping Rabbit. Pick 2, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Nico Collins, Jamar Chase. Oh. Well, if it looks like it's super flex, if that's the case, I'm probably going to play both of your quarterbacks. I mean, I like Nico and Chase, but there's no way I'm sitting my quarterbacks this week in that matchup. Yeah, this game just went completely sideways. I was not ready for it at all. As I was saying, Gainwell's having his best game. Did not see that coming. I actually thought the Vikings would have a defense there for a little bit, and then that just completely flipped. The usage is about right. I'm really impressed with how DK's been playing. Well, I mean, that might end up being okay at this point. Glitchy. Yeah. Not getting him in. It could end up working. Addison's seeing a lot of targets, though. 3 for 33 right now. Nailed my Xavier Scott scoring. That's interesting, too. But this Steelers defense looks pretty good. Gainwell is about where I expected, except for I did not expect him to have 2 touchdowns, even 1 touchdown. I really like his usage. It kind of shows at that point that we are where we kind of expected. The Pittsburgh running back, if it's just one, is going to be very fantasy viable. But it's not just one, then you get into a gray area. Oh, all right, Leapy Rapid pick. So I'm going to go with Love and I mean, it's just I can't sit Chase. Chase has at least done something. Collins has had a okay go of it, but I still think that you have to roll with Chase there. All right, C Plank, Ridley, Higgins, or Quentin Johnston. You can't sit Johnston at this point. I know it's terrifying, but he just continues to pull the top off and get open and score, which makes it really tough. BZ, what's up, man? Pacheco, Hunt, or Shaheed in the flex. That's a good one. It's half. I'm probably going to go with Shaheed just because I think the volume's there. If you don't like that, I'll roll Hunt because he is the most likely to score of them. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I did see that if Rattler doesn't win this week, it's going to be the first time a quarterback has gone 0-10. So that's also kind of rough. AW, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Travion Henderson, Waddle, Worthy, start 3 in PPR. All right, if you're looking at that, I'm going to go Henderson, Waddle, and Worthy. I'm going to take the last 3. I don't like the matchup for Javonte against the Packers, and then Chase Brown just that O-line is not helping him at all, and so he's not being able to get in any space, and they're not able to do enough to make him somebody I'm willing to trust. All right, Leaping Rabbit. Started defense. Houston, Patriots, or Chargers. It's going to be, it's probably going to be still the Chargers, but it's close. I really like the Patriots now that they have Christian Gonzalez back, but definitely something you're going to have to keep an eye on because they're still really beat up. So I'm going to roll out the Chargers for now. Juan, Nix, or Herbert. Sticking with Herbert, and then Hall or Hampton. Well, it's probably actually, if it's PPR, I'm going to go Hall. Otherwise, it's going to be Hampton. And then Sutton or BTJ, it's going to be Sutton. K-Bird, Flex, Waddle, Jennings, or Pollard. That's interesting. I'm probably going to go Waddle, but it's relatively close with Jennings. If Jennings wasn't, like I said, if Jennings wasn't beat up, I'm kind of curious how effective he would be. But it's with him potentially being limited, I'm not willing to roll that out. C Plank, you like Ridley or Higgins better? Higgins this week because I think Chase actually has a tough matchup. So I'd roll Higgins and hope that he's able to get the ball, but also very risky to kind of see. Morning, Tony. Geno Smith, Fields, or May. I'm pretty sure I have. I'll check. I have May the highest. So I'm going to roll out Drake May that week for this week. Judkins or T. In standard, I'm going to go Judkins. You think Baker does okay or plug in Mariota? I'm still going to trust Baker, Daniel. I know it's a tougher matchup, but even with his injury, I think he's going to have to throw. And if they're willing to roll him out there, you kind of have to believe in it, unfortunately. Josh, Daniel Jones, or Geno Smith? I have Jones higher. It's relatively close. But I still am going to roll Daniel Jones and then Trey Tucker, Pearsall, or Kraft. They're kind of all the same kind of player. So I'm going to go Pearsall with the fact that Jennings is probably going to be limited. BC, how about one running back and one flex? Half PPR. It's going to be Pollard, Scatterboot, Olave. I'm going to go with Olave and Pollard. Just because I think he'll have the full workload. I don't think it goes wrong either way. J Dabber, 420. I need to start 2. Igbuka, Judkins, Flowers, or Myers. It's going to be Igbuka for sure, and then I'm probably going to go Myers. I expect Flowers to have a good game, but really calling that is difficult because that they don't ever just stick with one guy. So, all right. Then who's next? Did that. T-Air. Standard scoring, need 2. Dobbins, Pearsall, QJ. Would it differ? Probably not. It's going to be QJ and JK Dobbins. It's close with Pearsall, but again, it's just really tough to get away from QJ. And then Dobbins has a really great matchup this week. Scott, good morning. Houston or Chargers? It's going to be the Chargers. I know it's a rookie quarterback, so that makes me a little more nervous than I was hoping, but just how it's going to be. AW, follow up Chubb or Henderson. It's going to be Henderson. Also, Penix, Mariota, or Browning. Yeah, I'm staying away from Browning, so it's going to be Penix and Mariota. Trader Joe. Hey, dude. What's up? Chase, Henderson, Swift, or Judkins? At that point, I still think I'm going to go Henderson. It's close with Swift, but I like the upside of Henderson, so it kind of depends on what you want there. TF, choose one. Half PPR. Ladd, Olave, or Sutton. Since it's half, you kind of want yardage too. I think at that point, I'd go Sutton, who I have the highest rated of them. All right, Scott. Flex 1. Iron Manor, Jawan Johnson, or Shaheed. Oh my gosh, that's tough. I think you have to play the volume here and go with Jawan Johnson. It's close with Shaheed, but it's not an ideal matchup, and I'm just worried about it. Oh, with PPR Trader, yeah, it's definitely going to be Henderson. Thomas, PPR, start 1. Harvey, Ollie, or Bill. Need upside, just play Hawkinson. Yeah, that's rough. I'm going to go with... it's probably Gordon, but I don't think the upside's as high as it would be for Harvey. At the same point, I mean, that's a tough one. You're in a tough spot. So I would probably go Gordon, but if you're really chasing upside, you have to hope that the Dobbins gets his work in early and then they move to Harvey. All right, Scott. PPR, tight end, start 1. Ertz, Strange, Chig, Gadsden. Oh my gosh. It's going to be Ertz, but all of these are actually really good options. We talked about it on Wednesday. We were pretty much excited for all of these players this week. They have decent matchups. And the fact that McLaurin's out also bumps Ertz up a little bit. C-Plank, Fields or Geno? Oh my gosh. I have Fields higher just due to the fact that he runs. That's really what it comes down to. I have him higher for that reason alone. Angela, good morning. I know. You and Dan are going at it. Pearsall or Keenan? If it's PPR, yeah, I'm going... You can't get away from Allen. He's just seeing too many targets. He's still the leader there, and he's getting looks in the end zone. I get one to play Pearsall with Jennings and Purdy back, and so it's very interesting. There's a lot of upside there, but it's just too tough to get away from Allen at this point. And then Monty or Swift. That's actually a really close. If I go to Montgomery, who do I have? I have Montgomery higher. Not by a lot, but he is slightly higher. All right. And then Tony, Tet McMillan, or Tucker Craft. Go and go Tet there. I know he's beat up, which makes me a little nervous, but I still think he sees the volume to have success. And like we've been talking about so far this year, pretty much since Love took over, he doesn't care who gets the ball. He just wants to win. So while Tucker Craft has had a solid first couple weeks and then the injury happened, and rather not worry about it. Metal Nate, Flowers, or Debo. Ooh. Really depends on what you need here. I think there's a lot more upside for Debo. The floor is safer, but it's really going to be hit or miss because of the matchup. Flowers has usually done pretty good against the Chiefs, but again, I think you just go with what's consistent right now, and that's Debo. All right, Daniel. Bates or Sly? I have Sly rated higher this week. Metal Nate. Lions or Texans defense? I'm pretty sure that's the Lions. Double check. Well, if it'll pop up. Dun, da, da, da. Yes. Have it as the Lions. Tony, this team is 0-3, needs upside. Chase, AJ Brown, Tet, Sutton. I would go, if you're chasing upside, I am going to go Sutton, AJ Brown, and Tet. Henderson's close, but I just think the volume is there for Tet, and it's hard to get away from that. Chad, Henderson, Judkins, both in standard. Oh, I think at that point I moved to Judkins. While I have him lower, I still think his opportunities are going to be a significant increase. And while Henderson should get the work, the risk is still there. So definitely makes me nervous. C-Plank, Javonte Williams, Tucker, or Ridley. I'm assuming that's Trey Tucker, and in PPR, that's who I'd end up rolling with. Melnate, you're welcome. Daniel, Gino, or Nix? I'm pretty sure it's Gino. I have Gino higher. Nix is actually significantly lower, surprisingly. Play Diggs over Shaheed or Ayamaner? Probably not. I mean, I wish I could trust that Diggs was going to go back to himself, but this year has been a rough go for him. It's kind of been, well, I guess it's not fair to say interesting, but different because he's seeing the usage that you kind of want. So in the past 3 games, he has seen a decrease every week in targets. And it's just, while his snaps have also been going down, like that's not the trend that you want for Diggs. Meanwhile, Ayamaner has been relatively consistent when it comes to his snaps, and even his target share has been right where you want it. It also has been dropping, but I also think that's partly due to matchups. So it's kind of interesting to see how that works out. And then Shaheed. Shaheed's another interesting case. Because again, the targets are there. Like, that's not the issue for Shaheed. It's more just that he can't do a whole lot with them. His best game, he actually had the fewest targets. So it's kind of crazy how that works out. But it really flip-flops between him and Olave, and it's going to be difficult to tell who's going to win week to week. I also just really hate the matchup this week for anybody playing for the Saints, as I do expect him to go and 0-10 for the first team ever. Same trash team, Henderson or Chase Brown. It's going to be Henderson there. Nope. Roll Henderson. Hope that he gets rolling. JD Heron, what's up? Nick Chubb or Rashad Bateman? Oh my gosh. It's impossible to really trust a wide receiver on the Ravens, but I'm also not willing to trust Chubb to do a whole lot. I mean, this is an ideal matchup, but the uptake for Marks has been crazy. So I'm probably, I guess it will depend on what you need. If you want the upside, it's Bateman. If you just want a floor, it's going to be Chubb. So, Rubba Deb. Okay, like that. Money or Shaheed. Sorry, Mooney. Oh, it's money too. I'm playing Mooney. Love the upside. So Marks or Chubbs. I have Marks also. I would actually go Marks there. If you're picking between him and Chubb, I think there's a lot of upside this week for Marks. So, Trader Joe, 3rd wide receiver PPR. So you only want one. Ayamaner, Hunter, Luke McCaffrey. I mean, Ayamaner is probably your safest play, but I really like the tape that McCaffrey put out with McLaurin out, and this is a game that they're going to have to throw. Devo should see a good amount of coverage. However, like I said, Ertz also gets a bump up. So if you're willing to risk it, it's going to be McCaffrey. Otherwise, just roll Iron Manor and hope that he finds the end zone. Would you play Trey Tucker over Higgins? Only if you're chasing upside. I mean, that's really what Tucker is. He's seen the past 2 weeks, 9 targets a week, which really is surprising. But if that trend continues, Tucker is going to be massive. However, with the fact that Chase has a tougher corner up back matchup, I'm hoping Browning will look to Higgins a little more. But still a lot of risk involved. Scott, Kincaid over Juwan? No. The volume's there for Juwan. That's like of all of the tight ends, he's the only one, I'm going to knock on wood before I say it, that has hit double digits in PPR every week without a touchdown. Like, it's crazy. Sorry, sponsor break. No, kidding. JD Heron, you're welcome. All right, trader. Good luck. Hopefully it works out for you. Whew. All right. Man, I still just can't believe Vikings are going to lose this game. Jefferson, massive day. Addison, massive day after a bomb. Gainwell ends up with a really nice day with 2 touchdowns, 90 yards, and 6 receptions, 35 yards. Whew. Dang. Hawkinson struggles. Since Addison's back, doesn't super surprise me. All right. You guys have questions, please ask them. Whole point I'm here is to answer them. Would you drop Hawk for Kincaid? I mean, with Addison back, probably. It really just drops off the targets there. And Jones is going to be back sooner than later, which also will hurt Hawkinson. So, also the potential, well, I guess we still have 2 weeks, hopefully. I think they officially put JJ on IR. If that's the case, you have 2 more weeks of Wentz. Probably worth it to drop Hawkinson and pick up Kincaid. There are still other players that I'd look at, while Kincaid is, again, on a long depth chart of players who are ahead of him for targets. He's probably okay. We kind of talked about it, but strange. If you're really just sitting to wait and see, Gadsden is somebody that I'm curious to watch. But really, what you're looking for right now are, I know he's not available anymore, but when he was available, Juwan Johnson was somebody I was picking up week 1. Hunter Henry is another interesting one because, again, I think he's going to be consistent target. It's going to be high up there, especially with Diggs snaps going down. I really think that helps him more. Harold Fannin, I know he had another rough week this past week, but I think that was just an all-around difficult time for everybody. Then I'd go Strange. Like I said, I like Gadsden, but again, that's more of a wait and see kind of a thing. So makes it a little more difficult. All right. Chad, Hill, or Tet? I'm rolling out Hill this week. Tet's injury kind of scares me. Drop Diggs for Hunter. Travis Hunter? No, I'm not doing that. Talk about people's snaps diminishing. Hunters have gone, they've cut in half pretty much every week. Which is weird because they seem to need offensive help, but they want to use him on defense more. A lot of people woke up mad about Warren. Yeah, I mean, they literally waited right before kickoff to announce him out, and that's crazy. Is Travis Hunter or Ridley droppable? Yes. I would go Hunter first and wait and try and hope that Ridley does something, but the fact that he's seeing targets and just having bad drops and iffy targets, I can't trust it. Hunter is absolutely, because his target share just continues to drop and he's not playing hardly for the Jaguars, which is just crazy. Really hurting a lot of people this week. All right. We got anything else? Alrighty. Well, while we hopefully get more questions coming in, I've hit a lull in the day. That's probably the weird start to the day, too. Whenever they have these games overseas, it just always seems that this day slows down so much because everybody's already asked, and I've hopefully been able to help, but always makes the struggle bus. All right. If you are looking, well, thankfully somebody else picked it up somewhat, but if you're looking for upside and you need just a random start, I am really high when it comes to Luke McCaffrey. I think he's one of those people you can pick up and play if you're just in a rough spot. I mean, if you had Ridley or Hunter, that might be somebody I'm looking at. Chris, need upside. Half PPR, Olave or Worthy. If you're really chasing upside, it's Worthy, but there's a lot of risk involved. Olave has been a lot more consistent, is consistently seeing targets. I just expect that Chiefs-Ravens game, they usually have a pretty good back and forth. And so that gives me a lot of hope for Worthy this week. See playing Shakir, Mooney, Allen, Ridley, pick 2. It's definitely going to be Mooney and Allen. It makes it pretty easy. Well, I like Shakir. Matchup isn't ideal. He should be just fine. And again, Ridley hasn't done enough for me to trust him. So, Tucker or Henderson? Tucker? Sean Tucker? Or is this Trey Tucker, Tony? If you're chasing upside, I'll go Trey. Otherwise, I'm rolling out Henderson. Chad, you did. I said May because I have him at. I have May as my QB4 this week and Fields at QB8. So easy peasy. Let's see. Any other good ones? We already talked about. Okay, yeah. So Tony, at that point, it really depends on what you need. If you're looking for the long bomb play in PPR, Tucker's probably going to be a good option. If you want something more consistent, I think Henderson has a good opportunity with the fact that both Stevenson and Gibson fumbled last week, really hoping that it goes his way. Oh, deep plank, May or Hubbard? Herbert, sorry, golly. I have them literally back to back, and I have May just ahead of Herbert. I'm a little nervous that Herbert doesn't have to throw as much. So if that becomes the case, it drops him just below May, who has an ideal matchup for really helping him get back on track. You're welcome, Chad. Edward, in a PPR league, should I start Ladd versus Giants or Judkins? You're going to start Ladd. Judkins has a tough matchup, and then at the same point, I really think this is a chance to get Ladd up and rolling. PPR. Logan, Monty, or DeAndre Swift? That's a good one. I have Montgomery higher. Not by much, but also the fact that Swift is dealing with injury makes me a little nervous. So, roll out both Lions running backs and hope for the best. Should I start Love or Fields? Oh, that's another good one. I feel like they're really close, actually. I have Fields at 8 and Love at 11. So, I have Fields higher because of his rushing floor. I keep trying to mess with this, and you guys are popping up with questions. I love it. Trying to see if there's any other good. Benson, actually, I was pretty impressed with how he looked. Thanks, Logan. Really appreciate it. It really depends on what you're looking for when it comes to streaming. So, G-Turn, welcome in. Back again, Pollard, Swift, or Kamara? It's Pollard. It goes Pollard, Swift, and then Kamara for me, which is saying a lot because, yikes. But are there any other knocks? I'm going to... Chuba's dropped a little bit because, again, them on again, off again with him really has made me nervous. It's a player that I'm keeping an eye on. A player that I think has been quietly doing very well that people aren't appreciating is Bucky Irving. Well, Daniel, that's because is a hard question. Tillman or Franklin? You're again looking at two players that are hit and miss when it comes to Tillman. He's been very high in all of his targets. Last week was his toughest matchup, and it really showed that when they are under attack, he can't do a whole lot. And I'm a little nervous for him this week for that reason. So I think this week I'm rolling out Franklin as much as I don't trust Sean Payton and the Broncos. This is a matchup that they should be able to do whatever they want. So, what's up, Nibs? Coker or Ayuk worth a stash? With the fact that they said Ayuk isn't even close, I'd much rather grab Coker right now and see. Also, Rashard Smith worth a stash. We kind of talked about that on Wednesday. It really depends on who else is available right now for stashing. There's a lot of other running backs I'd be looking at, like Ollie Gordon, if he's available. Or, yeah, I mean, we did like a whole list on Wednesday when it came to the running backs that we were actually looking at and interested to kind of see what it could be. Like, I'm also been terrified. So Bill is playing, but the fact that it was a late addition, I'm super terrified of it. So, I'm very curious to see how that ends up going. Oh, Nibs, full PPR, need 2 to flex. Judy, Ridley, Kirk, Wandale, Thornton, or Shepard. Woof. I'm going to go with Robinson and probably Judy. Golly, that's tough. Yeah, I'm probably going to go Judy. Completely understand why you're asking the question, though. That's tough. Brutal. G-turn, start Hurts or Herbert. That's another good one. Golly, you guys are coming up with too many hot takes today. Really good questions. Still have Hurts higher. So it's going to be Hurts for me. Yeah. Nibs, they are very much Jags. They're just average guys, unfortunately. And so that's making it really tough to pick. And again, they're also all over the place. Judy has a proven track record of doing well. While Ridley has the opportunities, he hasn't been able to catch things. Kirk is just getting eased in on an offense that is still trying to find itself. Wandale is the only consistent thing here, but also just had a quarterback change. Tyquan Thornton is interesting, golly, but Worthy is back. And then Sterling Shepard is probably what you can consider a safe play, but at the same point, Godwin is going to be playing what they said is a lot, whatever that means. So if you wanted to play it safe, I'd go Robinson and Shepard, but it's so hard to get away from Judy as a player who constantly does it week in, week out with all of the opportunities. All right. Well, anyway, got that. Answered hurt for G-turn. AW, worth a starting Brown or Henderson over Penix or Mariota? No, I'd much rather roll with the QBs there. Got PPR, Andrews or Fannin. I'm going to roll Fannin there. Trav Wade, Mariota or Gino. I actually have Gino currently higher. So, but again, I really don't think you go wrong. Should have mentioned I have neighbors. Tuner is about running him and Wandale out. Yeah, I understand that. But, I mean, you have to just... Okay, then play Shepherd. It's pretty much the same thing. You're at that same point where it could be either one of them. AW, you're welcome. Fannin or Njoku rest of the season. I still think Fannin's more talented, Michael. So I'd much rather roll Fannin there. Ooh. Big pain for Calvin. Yikes. That's never a good sign when you get taken, likely broken arm. Oh my gosh. Are they going to end up going into overtime? Are you not entertained? All right. Yeah. This has been very interesting lesson in when it comes to fantasy football of you don't know yet. That's part of the reason we don't like trading before now. We're really starting to see how things are. I guess the Steelers are getting their defense back under control, which is always a plus. But it's still iffy. Oh my gosh. I swear. This game ends up going into overtime. This is going to be insane. Because this is how it should have been the entire time. All right. Well. Just insane. All right, Kyle. Standard scoring. Pick 2. Sutton, Higgins, Godwin, Montgomery. Interesting. It's definitely going to be Sutton. And then I'm going to move to... I think I go Godwin. It's really close with Montgomery because I think they both end up scoring, but I think I'm going to go Godwin with more yards. Michael, Kamara, or Genty. It's going to be Genty. Rolling him out there for sure. All right. Now that caught up, we have a full slate of shows every week. So Monday, we have The Wire, where we go over all our waiver wire pickups for the week. Wednesday, Neil and I come back and talk about everything that you might have any questions on. That's a great time to come in. We'll go in real depth. We'll do trade questions. We'll go over any backfields, any wide receivers that we're interested in and why. Then Thursday, ahead of kickoff, I help out with all of your start sits before that. Friday, we have our betting show. And then Sunday, you're clearly here. So welcome, and we will continue to roll that out. All right, Kyle. Thank you for some more questions while I vamp that up. Next one. Half PPR need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Okay. I think I'm just going to take all of your wide receivers. I'm going to go Tet, Pickens, and Godwin. It's really close with Judkins, but I really I have to see it again. And this is a matchup that's very tough, so I want to see how that works out for him. And then last one, bench one. Oh, if I'm just benching one of these, it's definitely going to be Godwin because we don't know what it is. I'm very curious to see how it works out with him and Ibuka. And then I know Evans is out, so that should help. but I'm very curious to see how he's used. See playing Tucker or Javante. I'm still going to go Tucker, K-Bird, Chase Brown, or Tony Pollard. That's going to be Pollard. What do you think of DeMarcado's taking the? It's not okay. So this is part of the thing that I definitely want to talk about because I looked at it as well. It's a great reason why you should join our Discord. We had a talk about it. And Steve, one of the guys on the team, came up and talked about how 2-minute warning is really where DeMarcado helped, and so that's kind of really what boosted him up when you're looking at it. Is just that the times that how often do you really think the Cardinals are going to be chasing? Which, don't get me wrong, I do think they will be chasing quite a bit. But it's just the fact that he is used on third downs and 2-minute drill. Benson's still going to be the better play. It's just going to be out the point that the Cardinals are chasing. It'll be very interesting to see how that works out. Because if they get down early and they have to use DeMarcado more, that'd be a completely different thing. So, Kyle, you're welcome. And we're still rolling out Mayo or Baker. Yeah, mostly because I'm nervous about Baker's arm. And while I think he's still going to throw a lot, and that offense is going to be solid, it's also a difficult matchup. So there's a lot of things contributing to that, but I think May's easier matchup makes him a much safer play for you. Daniel Worthy, Debo, or Mooney? Golly, that's tough. It's really between Mooney and Debo. Mooney's been crazy with the amount of targets he's been seeing. It just hasn't shown up as very much. But the fact that McLaurin's out, I think Debo also has a massive uptick. If it was me, I would probably go with Debo. But it's real tough since they're facing each other. Dez, Titans versus Texans or Jags. Oh man. Nope. I would go Titans because hopefully they're able to keep the game slow, but that is not ideal. Chase Brown, Trey Henderson, or Kirk Chaffee. Of them, it's going to be Henderson. I liked what I saw from Kirk, but I want to see it again. I just think Henderson's opportunity has to come this week. If they have any kind of idea of where they need to go, Henderson should be the one who sees a majority of the touches. And if he does, I think this is a great week to really have him roll. So. You're welcome. All right. Tanner, Scatterby, or Olave. It's going to be Olave. Dude's still seeing a bunch of targets. Hard to get away from him. And Scatterby also has a tough matchup with a rookie quarterback. While I do understand he's going to see a majority touches, it's very interesting. I just can't get away from Olave yet. And this is also surprises even me. The Chargers have actually been pretty strong against the run. So Nibs got another tough one for you. Full PPR, 2 flexes. Shakir, Wandale, Iron Man, Ertz, or Thornton. At that point, I think I go Shakir and Ertz. But mostly because I'm assuming this is the same team that has Neighbors again. Otherwise, I'd probably go Robinson and Ertz. I'm really high on Washington this week. I think because of McLaurin being out, they're going to really have to spread the ball around, and they're going to have to move it. Marcus Mariota isn't a slouch when it comes to being a backup. He can step in and do the right things. So this is another great matchup for him. So, Cecilio, Pearsall, Waddle, or Pickens in PPR. This really depends on what you need. The upside will be Pickens because Lamb's going to be out. He should see a lot of opportunities. However, Pearsall has been one of the more consistent plays with even Jennings, who, again, they say is going to be limited. I still think I'm willing to trust Pearsall there. So really comes down to what you need. How do I feel about Adams? I'm nervous about it Yes, glitchy feels over Baker. I'm really nervous about it. Well, initially I started him as my wide receiver 7, which I understand is extremely high. I thought this matchup was really good for him. I'm just nervous that they really end up limiting him, and because of that, he's dropped all the way to. He's still probably going to be playing because I have him as a wide receiver 2, 3, I guess technically because he's a flex. I couldn't see putting him behind people like Brian Thomas and Devontae Smith and DJ Moore, like those players. I couldn't put him behind, so it really makes it tough to move him too low from there. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'd probably go Robinson and Ertz then Nibs. Lucky TV need to BTJ Olave or Godwin. I'm sitting BTJ until he does something for you. I can't trust Brian Thomas. I know it was only 1 year, but it did not look good. It made me super nervous. Brett, oh, thank you. I just try to do all the information. I collect it. I try and figure out what's working out best for everybody, and then roll it out and hope for the best. That's always the goal. Is we want to definitely hit more than we miss. So if we can do that, we're winning. Joe, start 2 of Jameson Williams, Higgins, Tucker, Michael Pittman. It's definitely going to be Pittman. And then I think I go Higgins to kind of level that out. I think Pittman's set for a really good day. Jameson Williams is probably going to be another one, but it just is so risky. Same thing with Trey Tucker. I think I'd much rather just roll out Higgins to Pittman and hope that the difficulties are there for Chase and tougher coverage, and that Browning's able to get to him. So not ideal, but just how it is. Thanks, Nibs. Joe, you are welcome. I really hope it helps. I'm more mad at myself. I should have woken up early and got the news, because seeing Addison so low in my rankings just hurts my soul. Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's see. Other bits of news. Worthy's going to play. I think I thought he was going to play last week, so I'm very curious to see how it ends up working out now. Another name I'm kind of keeping an eye on is Hunter Renfrow. I think this could be a good play for him this week. Matchup is solid. Do I have Luke? I know I have him on here somewhere. Yeah, and for a lot of people, Luke has been probably buried when it comes to his depth, and I surprisingly have him way too high because, like I said, I don't trust Brian Thomas Jr., and because of that, I have Luke McCaffrey way up there. You're welcome, Daniel. You guys have any more questions? Now's your time. We'll be back tomorrow with the waiver wire, going through all the players. All the information that we get today is just going to keep adding up, and we'll have more and more to go off of. So that always makes me excited for how things will end up working out. Having more info, I feel like, is a massive advantage. So we're going to finally be somewhere that we're really understanding how this play is going to work out. So, man. See, this is why I don't like the early games. I don't get to talk to you guys as much. It's so sad. But okay, fine. Guys haven't already, please like and subscribe to the stream. Really appreciate it. Like I said, full slate of shows. Monday, we have the wire where we go over all of our wire picks for the week, including streaming quarterbacks. If you end up, because guess what? Next week, we start buys. So, got to remember that you're going to likely be without, I think it's 4 quarterbacks. I feel like it's the Steelers are one of them because they're over in wherever, Dublin right now. I'll double check because I'm pretty sure they put it out. Okay, so you will be without. Well, is that next week or is it the week after? Did they change it? Oh, is that the bottom? Dun, 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 dun. Riveting TV, I know, folks. Okay, so next week you'll be without the Falcons, Bears, Packers, and Steelers. Really sucks for the Vikings that they're going to have to travel back and figure that out too. But so you won't have your Penix, you won't have Caleb Williams, you won't have Jordan Love, and you won't have Aaron Rodgers. Granted, you probably weren't starting a majority of those. The big things you won't have is like Bijan Robinson won't be there, Swift won't be there, Jordan Mason won't be there, DK. Like these are, so it's important to come to watch that show because we'll be able to help Nightmare. Love the name Pittman or McConkey. I actually have McConkey higher, but I really can't fault you for playing Pittman. I think there's a lot more opportunity. I just think that this is the week that they really try and focus and get McConkey going. So really tough to get away from. But yeah, so that's our Monday show. Wednesday, of course, we have me and Neil, roster of the people, going through, helping you guys deal with your roster management, helping with trades, going through any questions you might have on backfields, on wide receiver clusters, on any number of things that you bring up. And of course, our start sits of the week. Thursday, I do a slight 30-minute show right before kickoff to help you set your lineup before the game starts. And then Friday, we have the betting show. Finally, we end up here. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, you can also join the Discord. When it comes to trades, that's where you want to be. Also, we will start, I think we're going to start next week with our roster resolutions. They should become available on the website. Still not sure on the price. I forgot to ask. Sorry, that's on me. But should go live and you'll be able to start purchasing those where we look at your team, look at the rest of your league, look at your waiver wire, and really help you build and start looking towards the end of the year, where we want you to be in the playoffs. So, all right. Well, you guys don't have anything. I'm going to leave. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I'm just now seeing all these. All right. Joe. Brock Purdy or Geno Smith. That's going to be Purdy. William, you made it in just in time. Javonte or Devontae. Go and go Adams there. And then Kelsey or Warren. Still going to go Warren. Frank Rod. Wow, it's been a minute. Pick 2. Jamar, Pearsall, Ladd. It's going to be Ladd and Pearsall. And then Will again. BTJ or Javonte. That's going to go Williams. Sweet. Laporta or Henry. That's going to be Henry. I think everything else looks good, folks. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Hope you all have a lovely week 4. Good luck. Hopefully this week isn't crazy. We don't have that weird witching hour where we get random blocked field goals for touchdowns or extra points or anything else, because that was just too much for me last week. It made everything just seem so backwards. So, ooh, Frank, you're coming in under the wire. Warren or Dubs? I'm guessing that's Tyler, so I'd rather go Tyler Warren there. All right. Last chance. Going once. Going twice. Okay, well, have a good week for y'all. We will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll be back in a week.